Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sister Talks podcast, where we two sisters talk about life, laughs, and things that make us go, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm your co-host, Shanice, of 60 with Shanice podcast, and I'm here with my sister.
I am Jay of My Core Memory Vaults YouTube channel.
And today, I have a lot on my list, but we're just going to go with how I'm feeling. And let's start with some of the things that make me go, what is going on in the world today? So as I've shared in previous podcasts, I started watching the news again. I may need to take another hiatus because now I'm just like, what is going on? Are these actual... there are some real, there's real news out there. And then there's news that is just beyond me. And one thing I'm going to share is one of those things that was really just, did this need airtime? And it is about someone local to us. It was a young lady in Sacramento who is getting notices from the DMV. And out here, because I don't know if the DMV is everywhere, but out here, that's Department of Motor Vehicles, that wonderful place, getting notices that she has to change her license plate. And if she doesn't, she will be fined until she does so, or her car will be towed. And so I'm sitting there like, well, did she not, pay her tickets? Because she seems young. So I'm like, okay, maybe she has some parking tickets. I've had parking tickets in my past. Maybe, she hasn't been paying her tickets. What's going on here? So I continued watching, only to find out that she's being penalized for a personal license plate that reads, I am ISIS. And I'll pause to let that marinate.
What's the problem?
I am ISIS.
Oh, like ISIS. I think if you don't have anybody in your life named Isis, then immediately you think of like ISIS. But we know multiple people named Isis.
Right. And her name is Isis.
Oh, now, come on.
Mm-hmm. But they basically were saying, because I was laughing as they were going through it, so I didn't hear the full report. But basically, they were saying that because it's outward facing, it can cause concern for other drivers and other. Basically, it's what was the term that they used? It's similar to like the lights under the car. Oh, what is that term? Where it's a distraction. Thank you. But there's a specific term for it where like those folks who have any type of something on their car externally that distracts other drivers, they can be fined for that by law, at least out here in California. So her personal license plate is being considered that, and now they are looking into the protocols when personal license plate requests are being reviewed and adjusting the criteria for situations.
Because that's okay. So are they asking her to change it or demanding?
They're demanding her to remove it.
Right. At a cost to her.
Yep.
Because that's where somebody had to approve this. Mm-hmm. She had to go to the DMV for this little personalized thing. And they market their little personalized license plate all the time when you pay your registration. So somebody had to approve that. So they need to eat that cost. I wouldn't change it either. You can take me to court.
Yep. And that's what her mom said too. Her mom supports her fully. She's like, yeah, we'll take it to court. That's fine.
Yeah, because now I can see if you were like, okay, you need to change this. We should have never approved it. Because now you're paying for 2 license plates. Why?
Exactly.
Like it should be, we'll pay for it, but just change it because, ISIS.
It's questionable.
But if y'all sitting up here trying to act like she's completely in the wrong, like you guys didn't approve this, and I know it took them some time to approve it because the DMV is not known for their speedy response times. So absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And she was so precious in how she was just like, yeah, I didn't really understand it when I first got the notice that there was a concern with my license plate, because it's like, it's my name. It was interesting. And then I was like, this is news. This is our news. It was bittersweet because it was like, why is this news? But then also with all of the other stuff that we've talked about previously that's on the news, it was a good breath of fresh air a little bit to be able to laugh about, like, these are, I guess, some of the challenges out there that folks are dealing with. So, yeah, I thought I'd share that with the collective. Awesome. So I know you have something, so feel free.
Something. I just didn't know if it was.
Yeah, we could ping pong.
Okay. Well, I only have one thing.
I see.
Uno.
We'll see how long.
But I did start that little running list that I said I was going to do. Okay. So from our conversation last week, I had to sit. Well, also, whilst I was editing, I had to really sit and think about, was that last week we talked about the news and everything?
Yep.
And just like ponder, right? And then, of course, I'm still on social media. So I have been seeing a lot more. Obviously, a lot of things happened this week. However, I also got to see social media, like the good side of social media. I don't know if I've curated my algorithm, but my social media is looking great. So there is a creator. Let me finish what I first was saying.
Okay.
Because last week I was like, kind of like, where does all this anger kind of fit in to like my life, and like what, like as I'm unlearning all the things that I was taught in childhood, in religion, and like figuring out who my whole self is, like who my authentic self is now. So then I was like on social media and I stumbled across this creator, and then that's how, I think it's really interesting how my brain works.
Okay.
because I don't think linearly at all.
I don't think anyone does nowadays.
I think in like, the brainstorm bubbles where it's like a new one pops, and I don't realize it until I have to try to explain something. But anyway, there's a creator. I will put her handle in the description, only because like I don't know how to say her name, and we're not gonna put your name. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But she was talking about this concept of sacred rage, and her whole like majority of her content is based on like decolonizing a lot of things. So it's essentially, she took it from that standpoint of like decolonizing like rage, and how like a lot of indigenous cultures had sacred rage a part of their culture. So of course, went to ChatGPT and I was like, wait a minute now.
Right.
Because didn't nobody tell me that there was a place for my rage. So the idea of sacred rage isn't always called that exact name in indigenous cultures, but it does show up in teachings and practices across different nations and traditions. At its core, sacred rage is about seeing anger not just as a destructive force, but as a life force energy that can be harnessed for protection, justice, and healing. So it brought up like relevant threads of like where you would see it. So, right, like as a protective force, in many indigenous traditions, rage or anger is understood as a natural and protective response, especially when one's community, land, or way of life is under threat. It becomes sacred when it's channeled into defending what is life-giving: water, the earth, children, ancestors. Another relevant thread is rituals and ceremonies. Some cultures use ritual spaces, dance, drumming, fasting, or warrior traditions to move intense emotions like rage into a sacred collective form of energy. This way, anger doesn't stay stuck in the body but becomes fuel for resilience, resistance, and clarity. Balance. In indigenous cosmologies, balance is central. Rage left unacknowledged can cause harm, but rage honored and directed can restore balance and serve as a medicine emotion, pointing to where injustice and dishonor and imbalance exist. So, a decolonial framing in contemporary indigenous activism, sacred rage is often spoken of as a righteous anger of ancestors moving through us. It honors grief and fury at colonization while affirming that these emotions are not shameful, but a part of spiritual inheritance and responsibility. Rage is always tied to protection, balance, and truth, not just random destruction. Rage is often embodied by feminine figures, mothers, goddess, spirits, because woman's wrath was seen as sacred because they were protectors of life. So I then asked, because I was like, okay, so was everybody on the same page? Because this was back when we didn't have phones, we didn't have the internet. Wasn't nobody, I mean, people were traveling, obviously, colonizers colonized, but not every day, you know? Like I can get on a flight to LA, but it would take me like 4 days to walk there. So if everybody's on the same page, all of our ancestors can't be lying. But like, show me where it showed up in the ancestors.
And before you go to that, I want to make sure or highlight that piece around defining what rage is, because I love how you said that it can tie to healing, justice, which we see a lot of, justice, or just the overall protecting of oneself or that thing that they maybe love or endear. Anywho, somebody correct me in the comments.
Right?
Adore. Thank you. So I think where society has depict rage as this reaction, or this not even a reaction, but more of like a unexpected response, like out of the blue thing. Like, no, there is roots and origins to rage. So I thought that was interesting. It's getting me to think a lot right now.
So I was like, point to in history. You know what I mean? Like if you're saying that goddesses and point to me in every single, and that it did. And so this is kind of lengthy. I'm gonna try to keep it as
we could take it
short as possible, but I want to read them all because it's like everybody is in here.
Right.
So
yeah.
Africa. Oya, is like the Yoruba deity. The sacred role is storms, transformation, righteous wrath. Sekhmet in Kemet in Egypt, lion-headed goddess of wrath and healing. Ancestral spirits, just in general, we're still in Africa. Rage as communal protection. Now we're moving to indigenous Americas. The indigenous Americas. Warrior societies. So Lakota, I want to say Cheyenne.
Sounds familiar.
Okay. And Dine, maybe. Anger as protection of land and people. Trickster spirits, raven coyote. Disrupting imbalance through chaos. And then matriarchal authority, woman's rage as life protection. That was indigenous Americas. The Celtic / indigenous indigenous Europe. I will try to pronounce these. I want to say the Morrigan, Morrigan, Irish, battle, prophecy, sovereignty. Scottish, Cailleach, Cailleach.
Why is there more letters than
Winter storms, cleansing wrath, and then keening women, rage, and grief for the dead. Now we are in South Asia, and this is where the pronunciation, y'all not gonna okay. However, South Asia, India, Kali, Kail, Kali, excuse me, fierce mother, wrath against corruption. Durga, a warrior goddess, slayer of demons. T, okay. East Asia, Hanya, Japan, female rage spirits turned protectors. And then for China, Wu Jing, fire equals anger, balance needed, essentially. Middle East, Mesopotamia, Inanna, love, war, divine fury. Anat is Canaanite, warrior goddess, blood, and fertility. Norse or Germanic. It's spelled Freya. But how do you spell Freya?
I don't know.
Okay. Freyja. Love, war, chooser of slain. Ooh, we like that. Valkyries. The Valkyries. Sacred rage spirits in battle. And then berserkers, men who entered rage trance for protection.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, me too. But the point is, whether I butchered the names or not, this idea, this theology was everywhere back in the day. And I understand colonization, but it's interesting that colonization, or the idea behind it, had to demonize the very thing that was protecting these communities first in order to be successful in colonization. So in my journey of decolonizing my mind, because I've said on here a lot of times, there's been snippets of rage showing up, I guess, where I'm oh, by any means necessary, or if you are in a room and it's between your safety and somebody else, you make sure you get out of that room. And but that's a form of sacred rage that I didn't recognize as sacred rage. It was just hold on, girl. Are we going to hell? It was that little. So it's just interesting that this concept has been existing for a long period of time, and then existing for our protection for a long period of time, and then is demonized to this day, given the recent happenings of this week, to this day, where people just protect themselves.
Yeah. And I love that it's coming back, it sounds like, on social media sphere, right? But it's coming back in conversation because it seems historically rage, or the harness power of what rage brings, has been instrumental in women, in their journey, or in their ability to protect themselves and their communities. Which is interesting because we always hear colonialistic views that men are responsible for protection, which I'm not saying y'all ain't. All right, don't be like, well, Shanice said. No, I'm not saying y'all ain't. But what I am saying is there was this point or this shift where they took that power away from women to be able to do the same. And I want to take it back. That one movie. Did we watch that movie together? I don't think we watched it together. Oh, we didn't. The movie. So The Color Purple.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Okay.
I mean, no offense. I know.
So I watched the recent version because I wanted to compare it to the older one, and applause all around. and I'm not a musical person, but I managed to sit through this
And that's
because
why
it
I
was
didn't
very
watch
much
it.
artistic and creative, and the messaging was amazing. I cried throughout the whole thing. All that to say, the point where each woman in their own right expressed their rage, whether it was through, which she's my favorite, Sugar, through her art of singing. Obviously Celie, because she was done being beat. So she was like, nah, I'm going to slit your throat if you don't let me get out and see my sister. And even that being tied to like that rage stemmed from not just her wanting to get out of a situation that was harmful to her, but you took me away from my sister. Like you took me away from the only thing I thought I had as family that loved me, her, because she believed her daddy didn't love her. She believed her mom was gone. All she had was her sister, not knowing that there was more out there. But anyway, her name is escaping me. Harpo's wife. Oh, what is her name? It'll come to me as I'm talking. But she came out the gate, not necessarily with rage. I wouldn't have called it rage, but it was very much less docile than the rest of the Black women in the community. So others may have seen it at that, and then she's told her story. I've had to fight my entire life. I had to fight my father, my uncles, my brothers. I'll be damned if I'll fight you, Harpo. And then it progressed to her having to, fight the... Sorry, something else just...
Told you.
Yeah, there was another insight.
Linear.
But no, there was another insight, but that's for another thing. If anybody wants to talk about The Color Purple, please contact me directly. I would love to unpack all the things that just went through my mind. But going back to silencing the rage that women have, when we are released, when that rage is allowed to be out there, it helps everybody.
So not to jump around, because I watched, which was great, by the way, and I'm happy the young kids get their version. They redid The Craft. Oh. And like maybe it was 2022 or something. Evidently it didn't do very well. Watched on Amazon Prime.
Okay. I'll check it out.
But basically wait, you're gonna watch it? I mean,
I think I've already seen it, but okay. I can't remember.
So basically, the girls got together and they did a spell on this bully.
Right.
And the spell basically was like, let him be his highest self. Like, let him transform into his highest self. And then so they did it along the lines of like red pill. So like, oh, okay. Because it makes... So one of the girl who was in the coven moved into the house with her mom's new boyfriend. He was red pill. Does the little men's groups. Yeah. And he'll be like, oh, men are in a lot of pain. But like he will have the men's group and saying really hurtful things to the men, which these men's groups... Those are the men group that don't make sense to me, because it's just like, okay, but you're not helping these men. Yeah. Anyway, so the bully was in the men's group. Okay. So they were all like, it was all like red pill, men are the best at everything and everybody else is trash.
Very heightened masculinity.
Yeah. And, but it's not even like real masculine. It's just like you're not amazing because you're amazing. You're just amazing because you're a man. Like there are things about you that are amazing. But like, it's not just because... Anyway. So we have the bully and then the coven. Now they do the thing, be your highest self. The next day, he's his highest self. Mm-hmm. And he's just like a cool guy. And they essentially, the red pill man ends up killing him, staging it as a suicide. But what was interesting to me is towards the end when he was trying to attack the girl, because they were trying to steal The man was trying to steal the girl's powers.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you are in like toxic masculinity, saying you the best because you're the best, why do you need to steal a woman's power?
And that goes back to even with Celie in The Color Purple, or her name is still not coming to me. Harpo's wife. What is her name? Same instance. They were taught by, because in this version, we got more of a backstory of Mister's father, basically Harpo's grandfather. And he taught them, submit them before they submit you. So just that whole concept of like, diminish their light, don't let them execute any type of power, and then you'll be able to run the household and run your women.
Right. So then in his dissertation at the end, because he can talk, he was basically just like, I had to kill him because he was weak. Like, how dare you make him in your image, like saying that to the girls. And it's just like, they did not make him in their image. They just said, the spell was for you to be your highest self. They didn't say for you to not disrespect women. They didn't say for you to be accepting of like, because he was bullying up everybody, to be accepting of like everybody, to be accepting of yourself. They didn't say all that. They just said, be your highest self. And that's what happened. So it's just like, it's just, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where my rage, because now I'm starting to explore my rage, because it came out differently when I was younger. I used it with art. I used to write poetry, which you reminded me earlier this week. And so I finally pulled that out. And I was a very angry child. To some extent, loving yet angry, and all the same time. That might even be more powerful than you think. And then then it transitioned into dance, but it was never my voice. Now it is my voice, or my presence in general, and being able to understand like, okay, rage doesn't have to just come from someone directly, like physically hitting me or whatever. It can also come from, I just witnessed you doing something wrong and it caused harm, and I want it to be right. Or the justice piece. I'm very big on justice. Equitable justice, but justice all the same. And like, for folks to think that I'm going to try and tread lightly on this topic because it's still fresh this week, but for folks to think that it's okay for people to be silent about their views in how someone or something has harmed them just because something has happened to that individual, that made it more convoluted than it needed to be, didn't it? Okay.
Just because you die, that doesn't excuse anything that you
have
do
done
in real life. Like, I think it's
I didn't know how far we wanted to go on
I'm
this
going all the way
podcast.
there because it's like, whatever. I think it's interesting. I got to see in real time online that a lot of people think this is a game. They think that we're playing a football game and it's like Raiders versus Niners. Well, we ain't got the Raiders no more. Niners versus Chargers. And we're just battling. And then you're like, up. You're heightened, da. And then the game's over. Or one of the Chargers players gets hurt. Well, I'm not even a fan of, I don't know. But one of the Chargers players gets hurt. And then everybody like comes together and it's like, oh my gosh, well, the ACL and da. We just praying for the family. That's different. That's different than this. People are literally dying.
Yeah. And I feel like it's different because it's not an equal playing field.
Yeah.
When we'll still use the same analogy, when football teams come together, they all sign pretty much a similar contract.
Yeah.
This is what I'm committing to, and these are the risks I'm going to take. This world right now, everybody don't got the same contract. Some people don't have a contract at all. So for you to sit here and be upset because I'm outraged by the actions and the words of an individual who just, unfortunately, happened to have passed away, happened to allegedly been murdered. I'm going to keep it real. Allegedly been murdered. That still does not discount the harm, the unsafe environment, and the actions of that individual. And vice versa. I would hope you hold me to the same standard. And yet, remember, where I'm at in my life and how society views me and treats me is not the same as that individual.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a right to feel the way that I feel and express it the way that I want to express it, just as much as you allow that individual, any other individual that is still on this earth, to do that in their right. So you cannot use the color of my skin or the fact that I am a woman or my background or experience or education to discount. And I think this is stemming from something else too. Here's the rage. To discount me from being able to express my rage. And know that the way I'm expressing it now, this is grace. This is nothing but grace. Because the harm that I have seen to other people on simple just, and it's not even rage for them. Nothing has happened to them yet. No one has touched them. This is pure hate for them. And they're causing this type of harm to other people. You shouldn't even be checking for me. You should be checking for them. But that's just.
No, because I had to start thinking about, because, it starts to make you feel crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you see like people, and I had to go through and like clean up my list or whatever. But especially when you see people that like you follow, be like, oh, da 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 da, and you shouldn't da 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 da.
Yeah, because a few people got unfollowed on my account.
Yeah, and like, but I had to really, because at first, of course, I did the whole like, am I a bad person? Because that's always my question. And the answer is going to be no, but I just have to find the reason. Like, I need the facts. Or like how I will think about things. Mm-hmm. And I know I usually say like, one person's demon is another person's angel.
Yeah.
Like, especially when people bring up like voodoo and like hoodoo and all of the
taboo
ancestral spiritual practices, right? And like how they demonized it. And, like we grew up Christian. I'm not Christian anymore, but growing up, you learn that is the devil. Although we was watching Trump.
Right. And Christianity is someone else's devil.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like that is, yeah, sure. Okay. You want to say that is the devil, which is a crazy thing to say because what if it is God? So, but you're saying that is the devil, but that's what helped our ancestors get through slavery. Like imagine being ripped out of your country and being put on like, come on. But then I had to start thinking like that concept still goes to one person's blessing can be another person's like
demise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, so right now, the vast majority of people, the 99% struggling, right? Eggs are just about $10. Mm-hmm. And I like mine pasteurized. Or pasture raised, excuse me, not pasteurized. I like mine pasture raised, okay? They just about $10. They have a deal at Costco though, $8. So for me, that is a detriment. This is horrible. For the people making the money on the egg, that's a blessing. They are getting blessed. So it's like two things can be true.
Right.
So you guys are trying to make us agree that this is a tragedy. That's why I was trying. One person's blessing is another person's tragedy. You're trying to make us to believe that this is like a tragedy. I cannot believe that it's a tragedy to you and a tragedy to your family, but it's not necessarily, shoulder shrug. I don't know what to say. Right.
And if we're going to recognize tragedy for what it is, let's recognize tragedy for what it is. Because I saw a beautiful, I cannot take credit for this, but it was a post that I saw that beautifully outlined all the tragedies that just in my community alone we have experienced in the past 40 years. So for you, and we're talking from adults to babies, to children. So for for anyone to be out, and this is just a notice to y'all. Don't come on my account telling me how I should interpret tragedy and how I should deal with it. Just like I would not go to you and tell you how you should mourn. That is your prerogative. If that is what you want to do and need to do for you, by all means, but do not entrench on how I am dealing with what I'm dealing with.
But also, y'all are lying.
Oh, absolutely.
So shut up.
But in any
Because-
case, people
No.
going to express themselves regardless.
No.
Don't come to me.
You're lying because it's only a tragedy because it happened to y'all. Much like when Ukraine was happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then people are just like, okay, but yeah, in the Congo. But nobody cared about that, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or in Ukraine was when they were leaving all the black people,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody else was getting out. So it was a tragedy then, but it's not a tragedy for anyone else.
Right.
And the same thing for this, right? You're saying that this is a tragedy. Ripping somebody from their family is a tragedy. But you wasted no time
No time.
trying to hit up them HBCUs,
Hello.
cause harm to the HBCUs, calling in whatever to the HBCUs, which is really confusing for me. And maybe it's a California thing. How do you have time to do this? You don't have bills?
Thank you.
Because, like, I don't understand
Thank
why.
you. You don't got a job.
Like, how is racism this lucrative to where you can just sit around doing nonsense and not have to do anything? You don't have to go to work. You don't have to do anything in your community, but somehow you find ways to keep yourself alive. Like, that's what I don't understand. That's neither here nor there. But it's just like, you're lying and then trying to gaslight the rest of us and being like, oh, you should feel this type of way about this. No.
It's colonialism all over again.
Yeah. No.
And I'm not here for it. I think y'all thought that type of history can repeat itself. We ain't got one, we don't want it. So there's that. And two, we got too much on our plate to have to deal with that. So you can catch these hands. Like we're not opting in. And if that means y'all are over there and we're over here, well, hey.
Well, they already did that down there in Arkansas, though. They struggling
sure
to finance their little things,
They sure
which is really
did.
confusing. Because how are you? I mean, good luck to you. I ain't got nothing to say about it.
Right.
But there's something you said that it can't happen again, and it can't happen again specifically because we have our ancestors. Our ancestors didn't have our ancestors. They had ancestors.
No, colonialism cannot happen again.
No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Our ancestors did not have the what do they call it? They always talk about it in the realm of trauma, but not necessarily in the realm of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like generational trauma, but it's like
Wisdom, knowledge.
No, but just the way that it can pass through. Like if
Right.
trauma can pass through, so can knowledge.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that we all just know as a culture, especially on all. We learned that we knew just as a culture, seeing Scottish, Black Scottish TikTok. Like we all do the same things. Or like now there's a lot of Black people doing skits of like them becoming parents now, essentially just being like, oh, do you have McDonald's money? Or like there was one guy that his grandma was like holding open the door. And he was like, well, close the door. You gonna let my AC out? And she looked at him like, what? But it's like that's happening everywhere around the globe. And like all of these things like pass down, whatever. And that's like jokey. But I'm saying that like, I feel like people think that it can happen again because it happened to our ancestors. But our ancestors didn't have ancestors that went through it. Whereas we have ancestors that went through it. So no matter what, it's not going to happen again. You tried to, first of all, demonize our connection to our ancestors,
Correct.
which was really strategic.
Correct.
In order for us to like cut that off. But you guys could not help yourselves. Because I feel like if they would have kept the churches treating people right, or even started, having the churches treat people right and not been as racist, a lot of people would still be in the church today. But y'all couldn't help yourselves and you treat people poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So people had to come out, and then they came out and they got, some may say enlightened, some may say they're going to hell, who knows? But they got out. Everybody has a connection to ancestors for the most part. And now there's a lot of things that you just will not be able to do.
Yeah.
But,
and for those that are exploring sacred rage, because I am, and it's something, now I have a word for it, but it's something I've been exploring just in my own right. Like, how do I not have all of this pent up anger just sitting here and ruminating, especially when I feel I have the privilege or the ability to, what's the word? Get justice or bring a change that helps to shift the narrative around whatever the issue is. Highly recommend doing it in a safe space with people that you actually trust if you need to talk about it. I wouldn't say do it on your own, because I spiraled just when you first introduced Sacred Rage to me. I spiraled and was like going back and forth on if it is appropriate, again, peeling back to layers, if it is appropriate for me to even explore how to express myself in that way. Like, who am I to just rage out everywhere? And then what does that look like for me? And can my rage actually cause harm to anyone? Because I don't want that. Karma. So I'm now trying to dial back and figure out, without getting too much in the weeds of it all, like, what is the overall outcome of me being able to harness this type of power that I have when it comes to my own sacred rage? And it does involve talking about it and really having a sounding board that you trust to be able to be like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't know. Let's explore that a little bit more. Is that something that is from a place of healing or still something that needs to be healed? Because a lot of my rage comes from wounds. I'm going to write a book about it. But it does come from pain. And maybe that's where rage stems from. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far in
I think it's
my
different for
research.
everybody, and everybody's response is different. Because I know for me, it was more so like essentially my practical everyday. Because you know how I grew up, and you know how people like regarded me, essentially. And how we can joke about it now and be like, oh, I was just being honest, or I was just being da-da-da-da-da. But it's like, I just don't like injustices, and I hate it when you lie. Like, just call the thing. But like, that was always, I'm not going to say my delivery was perfect when I was younger. It was not perfect.
It was not.
But it was.
But it was
perfect.
True.
But now, so I think of it as like, because there are some things that I just refuse to talk around now. And that's going to be sacred rage. Whenever I want to do something, but I feel like small, or like I feel, like I'm recognizing the ways that this society has tried to make me small and tried to invalidate like who I am, what I have, like what I'm able to do, and what have you. And like we talked about this a little bit yesterday. But now me stepping into that rooms, I'm basically just like recycling that energy and now using it for this. I'm going to get this extra boost to step into this room, and that extra boost is going to be made from rage, because I do deserve to be in this room, or I do deserve to get this client, or I do deserve, like, my business is valid. And I don't need you to try to invalidate it, because you're also the same person that wants to hire me on your job for me to work for you for little to no money.
Exactly.
While pushing forward your whole business. So that, and to be able to say those things with my full chest, because like, yeah, okay, I can say it now. Cool. But like, it's hard to say things when you're full chest when you feel small. So like, that's, I don't know, just like little practical ways. And obviously there's going to be a time where I need to like protect myself, or protect a child out in the wild. I don't know. Or just like protect somebody, and just knowing that that's okay for me to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I've always expected society to come at me. It always has. I found that I have no problem raging out to society. I do have a problem raging out within my community because I don't expect I don't expect. I'm going to say it. I don't expect to be harmed in that way when I feel that I've entered a community that I can trust or that is similar to me and looks like me and things like that. So being able to even rage out in those moments where I feel, whoa, the tables have drastically changed. I thought this was a safe space. Now it's not. And show my rage either in my action or lack thereof and voice to be able to be like, yeah, you done turned the tables on me.
Yeah.
And so this can't happen anymore. And being able to find the words that still perpetuate what my overarching goal is and really is to make it a better place or a better situation for the next person. No one should experience anything I experience. That's a legacy I have chosen for myself to leave behind. Everything all the struggle and the challenges and the pain that I've gone through, no one, not just my children, no one after me should have, or is within my orbit, right, should have to go through that. And so I'm going to take every opportunity to be able to position myself to dismantle those systems that cause it to keep perpetuating. But it surprises me when I see those patterns in spaces where I thought it wouldn't be.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And I know I'm looking at the time. I don't know.
I don't. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into who, but just recently this week, somebody blew my mind. Like, this is a person that I grew up with. Well, yeah, I grew up with them because they were older. They were seasoned. And we regarded each other as family. And they done showed their whole behind. And because now in a couple months, I'm going to have to go back in those same spaces. And I was, there was some trepidation. But I had to really remind myself. And I always say this whenever I see like movies about like the kids being bullied. Not that it's the same because it's not, but well, but I'm always like, oh, I want to make sure to tell my kids that like, you're the most important person, period. You need to be the most important person to yourself. And essentially that means anyone can get it. I don't care who they are to you. I don't care what, anyone can get it because you are the most important person and you need to make sure you come home safe. But I had to start doing that with myself now and be like, okay, you're the most important person. And like, yes, while it will look different from person to person, right? Like how I demonstrate that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm going to make sure that I'm the safest, like I'm safe spiritually, emotionally, physically, all the things. And that I come home in one piece, essentially, but one piece spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And that's where people always think one piece is just physically. Because when I went out of the place in which I'm going to go into in a couple of months, I was in shambles, spiritually and emotionally. Like, they broke me down. And I've never experienced that type of hurt before in my whole entire life. It was horrible. So like, just know it. And usually I wouldn't go this self-assured, like going back, which is why I'm happy I found this where I have to go. But usually I wouldn't go this self-assured, just smile and bear it. Because I've been back since then. Right. We've been back for some funerals. And you just like grin and bear it. And then we talk about it after. But like, you don't say anything when they say some sideways things, which is crazy to say something sideways at our grandparents' funeral. But that's neither here nor there. But now it's like, I see everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, similar to me. I don't like being told that something's going to be one way and it's completely the opposite. And you used me as a tool to build that opposite. but I didn't know I was being used in the first place.
Yes.
And I am realizing that's when, what did they used to call it? The stirring up comes into play for me. Because it's like, oh, okay. Now you done showed your whole ass to me. Ooh.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's our channel.
But
No one's paying us. We're giving us
I don't know
free.
if it, does it like, okay, censor it or something on the interwebs. But you did. You showed me everything. And that's similar to your story in that environment, but also just now where I'm at, where I'm here literally just to serve. I'm volunteering, paying my own money into being able to serve Black women and their communities. That is it. And when I find myself aligned with people who say outwardly, oh, yep, I'm with that too, that's my commitment. But then I watch you and then you villain me for speaking out on, hey, I don't think you're supposed to be doing that. I don't think you should be going that direction. Like, that's a problem for me. But I think that goes, I am realizing, especially as I explore the sacred rage, I am realizing that is the very tools that back in the day they used to try and enslave us for whatever their agenda was. Mm-hmm. I didn't sign up for your agenda. So and then I also have to take responsibility now that I'm learning this to be like, at what point am I possibly doing this to someone else? Mm-hmm. So it's a lot personally for me to try and balance out at this. I'm only getting older and I'm already trying to deal with healing trauma. And now I got to figure out how to harness my rage wisely. So it is a lot, but I want to make sure that I have done all of the right things to be able to understand what my power is and then exude it in a way that aligns with where I want to be and how I want to show up.
Yeah. And this is going to be the last thing before I close out. And I'll close out. I like closing out. Okay. Also, I had to be, I mean, obviously, like, we can still go back and forth, but I'll close out. But I had to also figure out, like, because I used to be like, oh, okay, like, I want to, like, harness, like, figure out, you know, this theory, how it fits into my life, or this ideology, how it fits into my life, but I don't want to hurt anyone. And, like, sometimes somebody's going to get hurt, but you have to figure out what it is you're hurting. Like, are you hurting the patriarchy? Mm-hmm. Are you hurting racist, you know, ideology or race, like, you know, and just be okay with that. Because I feel like, much like when somebody's trying to attack you, or maybe how I used to think when I used to not want to hurt anybody. The idea when somebody is trying to attack you and you think like self-defense is just like, oh, let me just like hit them a little bit and just like try to run away. But no. So we can be in an all-out chase. No, we're going to finish this right here. Mm. And then I'm going to walk home in all one piece. But it's just like understanding that like there is, not to say you need to go around like hurting everybody, but there's going to be sometimes somebody's feeling is going to be hurt. And of course their feeling is going to be hurt when they're trying to do something to you and it doesn't succeed. Of course their feelings is going to be hurt. Right. But yeah.
But also that hurt might be their lesson. And that's something which is interesting. I dived more into for me personally, like, oh, okay, God, why did this happen to me? And why am I experiencing these pains? But then reflecting back, 15 years later, I'm like, because if not that, I wouldn't put the stuff I have been through, I would not put that on anyone. Probably not even on my worst enemy. And I'm realizing if I didn't go through some of it, I don't think I needed all of it. But if I didn't go through some of it, I probably wouldn't be the person I am today. I probably wouldn't have the lessons that I need to be able to, one, impart on my children, and just pure, like basic, this is how you protect yourself, and then other things. But also on other people. I wouldn't be able to be as compassionate and as empathetic as I am. So I'm a big believer that sometimes there's a lesson in that hurt. And if that means I have to be the one to get that started by hurting your feelings, then absolutely, because my intention, whether it hurts you or not, my intention is pure. The bigger picture is to change the pattern or to change the behavior or to change the system or burn it. So, and that would not just help me, that helps everyone, including you who was stopping it from happening. So I always look at, sometimes, yeah, you got to be honest with people and it will hurt them, but it could be a lesson for them as well that they can grow from.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so go rage out, everybody.
No, don't do that. But get some training.
Or what is it? Ethical rage. Go have ethical, sacred rage.
Okay, now we're just making up things. But thank you so much for listening. Love to hear your thoughts, honestly, because we would love to hear your thoughts. So leave a comment. There's also going to be in our bio site at the bottom, it says reach out to us, I think, or maybe it says hit us up. One of those terms. That is where you'll find the Google form to leave us a message. Thank you to those who have left a message thus far. And that is it. Okay, bye.
Bye.